folks, we're going to do some game prep that we got going on for our 15th level Descent into Avernus Helljammer campaign that we've been building product for to mix Descent into Avernus with Spelljammer Combat Exploration that we've been producing here on stream. So right now, I'm trying to verify if my stream is. It looks like it's up. Check. If my stream is. It looks like it was up. Did it stop? It was up. There we go. All right. Looks like I got some stutter going on. I'm just gonna have to deal with that. Give me a hot second here. If you check down in the description down below, there's a lot of links that are really useful for you. DMsGuild has a bunch of books that you can read. You can click on the preview at no cost. It gives you an idea of the kind of final products that I produce, how they look. There's Twitter, which I've just posted that I've gone live on. So if you follow me on Twitter, you just got a ping that I'm live. But definitely like and subscribe so that you can get a notification at the top of your stuff on YouTube. Your algorithm will spit out at you that I'm live. It preferences people that are live, but it doesn't really tell you about live streams of the past. It only tells you in the moment. So like and subscribe so I have a chance of hopping up to the top of your algorithms to say, you know, hi. But let's see. Oh yeah, and right now I am punching a bunch of Discord channels that I hang out at, like Indestructible Boys, Zipperon, Fry Minis, Cleric Corner, Dungeoneers Pack, Classes and Constructs, Rich Mary, as well as DMsGuild, the OBS Discord, Dungeons and Dragons Discord, and I highly recommend that you check out Dice Try if you want to hear awesome implementation of 5-color mana philosophies and character development. Dice Try is your guy. I'm one of his Patreon supporters. He likes my work, so I mean we have a cross respect for each other's work. His narrative is amazing, and it couples beautifully with the mechanics that I built, which are linked down below as samples of the work that I do. The 5-color mana spell point variant rule system, which basically lets you use tap red mana to activate, I don't know, fire stuff. Whatever. Don't spell yodel at me because I don't care right now. We're doing game prep, so we've been running game for a while with a growing squad of volunteer designers. When I play test and I invite you into the mix, you can bring any homebrew that you built yourself or that you've been interested in exploring. I run campaigns from level 1 to 20 pretty regularly. So right now my home game's at 17th level right now, and they're fighting a greater beholder that I use actually, ironically, it was Spelljammer that introduced. I believe it was Spelljammer that introduced the Beholder Mage, which they blind their anti-magic eye, and then they refocus each of their pupils or the lenses in their eyes to churn into a different type of magic. So instead of like being instead of being slow, they could like reprogram all their eyes to have telekinesis, or like they could swap out like the array that I have is 3 of the eye, 2 of the eyes are telekinesis, 2 of the eyes are disintegrate, 3 of the eyes summon lantern archons. So wherever the eye is looking, there's a lantern archon, which are a little thing, and then another one of his eyes has scry and arcane eye and true seeing stacked on it. So it's like a spotter eye, and then wherever it can scry to and use true seeing, wherever it scries to, it can drop balls of light. And once the balls are active, they act as familiars, and he can use them as arcane eyes as well. So he's dedicating concentration to different eye stalks to maintain summoned allies that he can summon, and then he can just close his eye and it disappears. And then he can just create a new one fresh with all its hit points. So he has an infinite supply of Lantern Archons. And my Lantern Archons have free use of Guardian Spirits and guiding light as their attacks. So they just flick out just laser damage and radius damage, and they will just swarm on the characters and just start milling them down. And when they kill one, it just another one blinks into existence, because they always have they're always trying to dispel or dodge out scry circles, because they're constantly just floating around trying to find them. And so they permanently tattooed non-detection onto their bodies. So they can't just be. They know that the Beholder and the Illithids that I work with know the team. Absolutely, they know the team. They've been fucking around with each other for like ever. So they're rivals. So the tattooed themselves so the Beholder can't just find them. So they have to scout locations that they think that the team may go to. And once they get a beat on them, they can follow them. And whenever they can catch up with them, like whenever they can keep pace with them, they'll drop Lantern Archons. And if you can get 3 Archons in a triangle, it acts as an arcane portal that Illithids can go through, and then they just start dropping mind magic on the team. So it's good threats. It's good high 17 level threat material. But it's ironic that I'm doing Spelljammer stuff, and I'm using a Beholder mage in my campaign right now. But the point was that I was trying to make to all this is that we this week we're doing 15th level playtests in Descent into Avernus. So here's the Roll20 screen that we have, and each square on this board, that's 50 feet squares. The map for Elturel here, each square is 500 feet. Here's a side view of Elturel spanning the river Styx that's flowing underneath it like that. And so you can see that it's basically wedged in, but it's also been cut in half in the process of being pulled into hell. And there's only just a ribbon's worth that actually keep these two things connected together. And in our last playtest session, while the team was trying to clear out all the demons and all the devils that were occupying this area, they had necromancers that were going through and raising all of the dead citizens of Elturel into an army that they could then feed to the chain, because as Descent into Avernus describes, the demons from the abyss are trying to climb the chains to get onto Elturel so that they can have a new toy to play with, but the devils don't want them to play with that toy. So they've been being sieged at all 8 chain links as described in Descent into Avernus. So we just built out the map with the logical conclusion of how would that operate here at the 500-foot scale, where when you're looking, come on, machinery, thank you. At the 500-foot scale, you've got a chain link here. Here's where the chain bonds to it. That's the actual chain itself. And so you can see on the map up here, they got a big chain here, and it's like circle clamp, like your keys, like if you push your car keys, the car key ring through your shirt on accident ever. I don't know if you've ever done that, but live long enough and you might. So when you push that through, it's like it's hooked in there because it's hooked through the fabric. That's what they've done here with these chains on the in the side of Elturel. So that's where all these chains are at, right? That chain here is actually located here. That's the corresponding spot here to here. You can see that here. Let me frame it better for you guys here. So you can see you got the diagonal straight away and then straight down, diagonal straight away, straight down. This is the same city block here to here, just 10 times closer on this scale. And like we talked about in these previous playtest preps, you can just grab a random few squares here, zoom out, come over here, and then drop them into these 5-foot squares. So this is a 50-foot, this is a 100-foot by 100-foot space that for a 2x2 space here would fill. So I could grab this little chunk of street here if I wanted to, copy it, drop it into my folder, pick it up, drop it back into here, and put it on the map so your characters can run around the 5-foot scale. When this actually goes to market, I'm going to rebuild the whole fucking thing at the 5-foot scale. It's It's ridiculous. If someone has already done that on the guild, I will buy it. I will save my ass that time. But so that in the last few sessions that we've been running around, the team has been running around in flying Infernal war machines that have had giant hell wasps basically stapled to them to give it lift. So they've been flying around with Lex. You know, I don't know if you ever saw that TV show Lex in the 90s, but it's basically like flying bugs that they're piloting with like PT boats, like crew of holy warriors and Elturel volunteers that know how to fire siege weaponry, hop onto these trucks, and the trucks can fly. You can fit as you can see here in a 50-foot space, you can fit a few of these trucks in there. So they can pick up a couple trucks, jump on board with them, and each one of these squares here is a 50-foot scale. So this is representing a squad of trucks, and then here you go. Here's your squad of trucks. So down here, we're looking at the 500-foot scale, and where'd you go? There you are. At the top here is the Citadel. That Citadel is here as well. Get that guy out of the way. These are the walking ballistas that the team acquired while fighting different boss fights in hell with their own posses. So when they defeat a warlord, they keep what they kill, right? So they get all the resources, all the trucks, all the siege weaponry. And if they can do it right, they can get all the troops to go with it. Otherwise, they have to populate their troops elsewhere. So in this take, when you're gathering resources, you have Elturel can be your base of operations, especially once you get airborne. You can easily fly into and out of the city, and the team can set up a safe perimeter for like a human safe zone that has a lot of siege weaponry that protects it from the casual devils. The whole plot of Descent into Avernus is that Zariel needs more devils. She's not being given more resources to fight off the amount of demons that are coming through. The demons know it. They're pushing their point. So they drop Elturel into hell so they could harvest all the souls. Damn thing got wedged in the river Styx. So now they want to go through and they want to cut it free. But they want to make sure that they do it right so that they don't just lose everybody. They're trying to harvest souls here. There's a lot that are already dead. So they figure, well, why don't we go in and collect all the undead out of here so we can have them fight the demons off while we drop this thing into the sink and then suck up all the souls and then spit them out of Elturel, out of Zariel's flying machine as freshly born devils to just feed into as fodder. Basically, it's a giant devil cannon, right? Since Spelljammer exists, the idea that you need to pick up souls to power your shit Spelljammer it's old tech. So now that Spelljammer exists, we can actually use Spelljammer tech, which means that we can use Spelljammer Combat and Exploration, which we've been building here online with you guys forever. So you can check the last 39 episodes of this design stream of how far we've come with this product so far. And now Ukulele Bard is doing rewrites, and he should be hopefully done with that this weekend. So on Thursday, tomorrow, is my playtesting for Helljammers. The first time the team is going to have... We did Light of Zaraxis a few weeks ago, and that was fun, and the team grokked it. So we took the same Spelljammer mechanics from Light of Zaraxis, and we're dropping them into Hell. So if we take a look at the top edge here, this is the top view of Zariel's ship. That's literally the top view that you get of it when you go in and you look at the Descent into Avernus maps. I think I actually might have... I have a map of that somewhere. It's actually probably here somewhere. It may be nearly impossible for me to find it offhand, but it'll be here somewhere. Anyway, my debate is, do I want to give them... I could give them this widow ship that my team ran in the last Eberron space opera campaign that they ran when they were fighting the principalities of Lazar, the 9 pirates of Lazar, were having shipping lane competition against Jeroam, which was using privateers to pick off trade routes as they would, round around Zalargo or wherever. So they ended up procuring this Black Widow design from a Jeroam privateer that they took out while working with the pirates. So the space opera campaign has each of the nations and various continents of Eberron floating around the planet's detonated core. So it's like a microsystem of asteroids around the larger system of moons that still rotate around it. The sun still exists. It's just at nighttime there's an underglow coming from the core of the planet that you can catch sight of, like Aurora Borealis if you look along the horizon of the asteroid that you're on. But they're all over 100 miles large, so they all have their own gravity pool. So you're rotating around basically with 2 suns. So crazy crop growth, crazy animal growth, all sorts of monsters everywhere. Fun stuff. But yeah, we've been using Spelljammer stuff for that in years. So although the mechanics we developed for this are unrelated. So but it was either this or a Scorpion ship, and a Scorpion ship feels pretty appropriate, but this is a fun design. I like it. If I were to do, let's see, let me stay on. I really want to paint, but I realize I have to do prep. I don't want to prep, I want to paint. I really, really want to paint right now, so I'm trying to get this done. In the last session, there was a shaking that was happening, and they know that this is the soft point. If this breaks, then the whole city breaks in half and can fall into the river Styx. So that's important that doesn't happen. So they've been getting earthquakes while they were fighting undead and demons and stuff like that throughout the city. And at this point, they've pretty much cleaned up the streets. These are potential respawn points for these type of creatures, but it hasn't happened yet. So as far as I can tell, the streets are cleared. So they jumped over the edge here to find out what the hell is causing the quaking going on. And there's this 100-foot by 100-foot square block white worm or purple worm that's burrowing through this remaining area. And when they kill it, they'll then be able to use its carcass to create their first Spelljammer. So when we pick up on the plate, they'll kill this thing at 12th level. They're going to kill it. They're not going to kill it. It'd be crazy if they didn't. But even if they did, they can still get raised. So, I mean, they're 12th level. Nothing can stop them. All I can really do is slow them down and give them a really good, a good rope fight. I've talked about that in a couple other streams about how you can't stop 3rd tier and higher characters. Really, you just can't. So you have to change how you DM. It's fun. I'll probably end up talking about that again, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. But so okay, great. So they have to kill this worm. So there's a tunnel where the worm is at. So we gotta build the tunnel. So let's build the tunnel. I'm gonna come over here, and this is our map. So I'm gonna get these guys up and out of the way, so I can come through. I think I am gonna give them a scorpion. I'd love to give them my own design, but I don't think it's the right time, right place. So I gotta get that out of the way. Let's see. Oh yeah, Zariel's ship. It's 200 feet long, right? So it itself has 400 hit points, and Zariel on top of it as its commander has 200 hit points. So when Zariel takes damage for the siege machine, she can convert that 60 points from a trebuchet into 6 points to herself. She's a CR25 creature. She can also heal herself. So fending her off is difficult. They're going to have a decent nest of enemies to be able to just screw her up. But luckily they've got all the trebuchets and stuff from the fortress over here that we were showing over yonder. They've been accumulating weapons and being able to house them in the Citadel. And the Citadel has a 1,500-foot reach. So at the 500-foot scale, trebuchets have a 3-square reach, which means that 1, 2, 3, if Zariel comes on land, if Zariel enters the city proper, like from over the river Styx, actually over Elturel, she's within range of trebuchet. If she tries to come from this way, obviously it's going to be able to hit her far sooner than she's going to be able to, they've got range on her. So she's going to have to come in closer. So this is the safest approach because they have to potentially target their city if they're going to attack her. So that's a decent strategy. She probably wants to just finish. I mean, she's got a 400-foot long blade. It's like a giant, massive scimitar. It does D10 times 100 damage each time she attacks with it. So it's colossal. It is ridiculous damage. If you try to suck up that damage as a commander of your ship or as a pilot of your Spelljammer, you're still going to be like on a D10, you're still going to be taking potentially up to 100 damage from that. It's ridiculous damage. So D10 times 10, so almost 100 damage. So it's super dangerous. But she's not interested in fighting the characters. She wants to cleave the city in half. So while she's soaking damage from the team, she's just sawing away at this last little pinch of land that she needs to destroy. And it's going to take, and this square can sustain normally 30,000 hit points of damage. So with this little left, if we go up here, each of these squares is 3,000 hit points, and there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4. She has to do 12,000 damage to this line here to be able to successfully sever the city. So that's the challenge that she's facing. She has to take this damage. The question is, how much damage can she take? She won't be taking damage from the city, from the fortress that they have, until she gets to this range. So she can get a good 3,000 hit points into damaging this thing before she has to worry about taking actual damage from the city. But once she wants to continue cleaving through here, now she's taking damage both from the team as well as from the city if she's going to keep cleaving through here. So she's going to see if she can. And if she can't, she can just bug out, heal up, and try again. Meanwhile, to resolve the soul here, get the weapon from Zariel, open the key, pull open the portal, and then pull this thing back through it before she has an opportunity to regroup. So that's the plan. That's the plan that's being fed to the players. How they want to execute that, up to them. How I'm going to respond to it as a DM, don't know. It's a play test. That's why we're doing it. But the damage is good, and she's effectively she can soak so much damage. So much damage. I mean, the ship itself can take 400. That's a lot when your ballistas are only doing, D8 times 10 damage a piece. So that's the basics of it. But for now, until they get to that point, we're dealing with the trucks, the Infernal war machines flying around at the 50-foot scale. And then we have the boss fight that we're going to do with the worm. So let's grab that and make a copy of it. And we can make it super big. I'm going to zoom in here. That is how big this is compared to a person. Super big. So that's fun. but the team is going to be in vehicles this size. And they can have a bunch of them if they want. So the team is going to be trying to eliminate this dude, and this dude is going to have, what is he? He's a purple worm, so that's 4th rank. So that's 40. That's 400 hit points per square. So this actually has 800 hit points. So this is an 800 hit point monster that we're looking at here. So 800. So they're going to have to do siege damage to it. That's at the 50-foot scale. How many of those? Jeez. How many of those squares does it have to go through? It has to go through 1, 2, 1, 2.5. That's 250 feet that it has to go through. So that's 5 times. That's 5 tall, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4. So there's a. Let's go to the other screen. Okay, so build here. There we go, and then just black and white. Okay, so from here to here is 250 feet, and here's 200 feet. So each 50-foot square at the 250-foot mark, it's going to be 200. So, oh, sorry, that's 500 feet. I'm so silly. That's 1,200 feet. So that's 500 feet, 500 feet, 250 feet. So that's 1,250 feet. So that's going to be, math is hard for me right now. I'm sorry. So that's divided by 50 is what? 100, 250. I know I should be able to do this by hand. So that's 25. So there's 25 50-foot squares, and it's 4 deep. So it's 25 by 4. It's 100. So they have to destroy 100 times 50-foot squares. And each one of these has 3,000 hit points. There's 100 of them. So, 3,000. It's 30,000 hit points. No, 300,000 hit points. My mistake. Hold on. 5 foot equals 30. 50 foot equals 300. 500 foot square equals 3. That's not. Yeah. 30, 300. Yeah, 3,000. So that's 3,000. Uh, 3,000, 6,000. Oh, that's right. The reason my brain is breaking is because when we structure hit points for things in general, it's we're only measuring one dimension to get the multiplier, which would be 1, 2, 3, which would be at the 500-foot scale. This would be 900 hit points, but it makes, since it has to cut through, it's not a stone. See, when we're doing that, like we're talking about like stone ships, like a flying pyramid, for instance, or a dwarven citadel, or like a scorpion that's got a metal shell that's mostly empty. That's where these hit points are coming from. It's a wall, which is typically 3 feet or less. But I need to factor in that this thing is cutting through solid blocks of stone. So it's going. God, that's the worst 3-dimension ever. Talk about your cubism. It's. So it's really 5-foot square should be 300 hit points. Thank you. So a solid block of 5 feet, like a 5-foot block of stone, has 300 hit points. That's where my brain was breaking. And then 50 has 3,000. 1,000, and 500 has 30,000. Finally, that finally makes sense. So 5 foot square, there's 20 of them. There's 100 of them, right. Yeah, 30,000 hit points. So they have to do 30,000 hit points. This thing has to do 30,000 hit points at the scale that it's at the 50-foot scale. Fourth, it's doing a D10. It's doing, what is it, 2D10. If you are a 4th rank creature and you're doing D10s, and if it's a 50-foot scale, it is times 10. So this is 2d10 times 10 per attack, which is going to be anywhere from 20 to 200 hit points every time it hits. So I have to take notes, which is what I'm doing. Playtest. White worm. HP. AC is 19. Damage threshold equals 20. I'm going to call it 10. Damage threshold is so big, I'm giving it a damage threshold. So you have to do at least 10 damage. Let's see. Attack is 3, 5, 7, 9. It's plus 9. Give it a size multiplier, so it's plus 5 plus 19. Damage equals 2d10 times 10. Crush. Swallow. Up to Gargantuan, 20 by 20, size object, auto damage if swallowed, plus grapple, grappled, equals swallow, auto crush until escape, no DR inside, 40 damage equals puke. No. Has 800 hit points, 100 damage makes it puke. Let's see, it can move. $30 feet per round. Tunneling. So by the time the team gets to it, they were feeling the rumbles for five rounds. So I would say at this point, 150, it's cleaved through 3 squares. But they've been hearing it for a while, so we're going to assume it dug up through the nether. So there. grab our pointy tool. And ope. That's where it's digging. Right there. So it's cutting a shaft. Each of those squares is 3,000 hit points. It's going to, yeah. Okay, so yeah, it can just break off that bit. All it's got to do is just tear through that tiny little bit, and it's got, where are we at? Like there. That's all it's done so far. So they've got plenty of time. They just got to get it done. So, and I can come up here. There we go. All right, so that line just represents how far above the river Styx the worm has gotten in the first 50-foot square. Like, it is not making a lot of progress so far. So, mild threat right now. Actually, should probably have a tunnel in it. Jeez. That could be fun. All right, let's do that then. Let's just make a little thing. So we're gonna make a thing. Do it like this. Let's go like, yeah, like this. Let's see. Came up from below. We could do like here. This could run in 3 dimensions, technically, so I could have a y-axis, but that gets clumsy. So instead, I'm going to just noodle around a little bit like this. This is a side view. It has to be at least 2 squares wide. That's right. Big boy. So far, so good. That's good. Am I content with that? Oh, that's fun. Yes, I'm very content with this. All right, so this is a vertical dungeon, meaning that the team would they're on flying machines, so they can fly in. The tunnel is basically going to be like like this is the size of the worm that's making the hole. So any like here, if they're on this surface here, you got like 10, 15. Like they got another one that's here above it. Like that, but the rest of it's just solid stone. Like from a like if I was looking from this direction, then this is what this area looks like here. If we're doing overhead, like something you could actually walk on, this here would basically be like using my old drafting skills from class, it'd be basically like this. And then boink doink, and then over here, got this here that goes 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Burp, burp, and you got wall, and then you got wall. So that's basically going this way is going like this. There's like a ridge here that you would climb. There's a dip, and then it goes down, and then you hit wall. But if you're on flying machines and you don't intend to walk around while you're trying to fly around and chase after these things, then this looks right. So at the 5-foot scale anyway, this looks right. If I take that map and then I drop it into this zone here, I can actually if I clear all this crap out of the way, I can really do this. Hold on, that was the wrong button. So that is what we're gonna do. Burp, burp. Let's go to the map layer. Let's go back to the object layer and just grab all these objects. Scoot them all aside a bit. Come on, buddy. Work with me, Goose. So we can drop that all up here in this corner here, and then have the side, like the overhead fight is like this, but we can have them maneuvering around in this space up here. That is where we are going. I want the Grazie. Let's go back to the map layer. Let's go back to this thing. Let's grab, oh, I don't know, random texture color. Purpley, huh? Interesting. Mild blue, good. And then I can just get them a Scorpion ship for after they. I'm thinking personally. Let's switch to the right layer. Here we go. Look at this guy. Look at those. Look at that fat maw. Should that not be mounted to the front of your ship? That is freaking cool. And I'm not realizing my face has been blocked for the past 20 minutes, but whatever. But man, that's boss. Look at that. That's gonna be a cool ship. So that's what we're gonna build. We're gonna build a Spelljammer ship out of that guy's face. So. But it's got acid spray, so it can like really just melt you horribly. but they get they get half cover from the weapon stations and the helms on these Infernal War Machines. So the acid might do 200 damage, but they could save for half, and then the vehicle will have its only be fourth damage. So at most it would do, assuming that even if they fail their save, at most they'll take 100 damage. So, but then there's also the truck damage on top of it. So potentially 110 damage, 120. They could potentially take 120 hit points of damage, which is a lot. So they may be burning through some spells. We'll see if that hits just a little too hard. Maybe I'll soften that up a touch. There. All right, so that's our square. So I'm going to make that bigly. There we go. Save as side view. Easy enough. And then we open up. Oh, pen's on my board. I can't move my mouse. Let's open up desktop and command vehicles playtest. There it is, side view. So we can go back to our map up here. Come on, buddy, work with me. Thank you. And I'll drop it into roll 20. There it is. Then we can zoom in a bit. Arrow tool. Got these super useful guiders. So now I can do the reveal space. There. From the player's perspective, this is all they get to see. So when they're flying around at the 50-foot scale, and so they've got, let me grab the right tool. There we go. They fly around here with these little flitter ships. They can fly, right? They got that Spelljammer. They got that Spelljammer hover ability. So they'll come down here from Torm's Reach. This is where they've been fighting. Leads each 50-foot squares, right? So they can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the most movement they can do. 150 feet around. So in 2 rounds, they can get themselves down into here, and then I can start opening up visual space for them, like like that. Like you see an up, you see a down, you see a forward. Which way would you like to go? And they can dungeon around a little bit, and I'll throw the worm in there somewhere to they'll find it eventually. When they do, they can it'll be up here when they find it, so they just got to go up. But I'll have support crews that they'll have to fight their way through, defending the worm from the inevitable counter surgeons that we're doing here. So they'll have some skirmish here, some skirmish here, some skirmish here, and they'll finally find the worm up here, and they can have the boss fight worm battle down here like this. So, yeah, there you go. I have the worm move 150 feet per round, so it'll be able to move 3 squares, up to 6 squares with its own movement. Obviously, it can go. It can ignore gravity because it's a 2-dimensional view, like we were talking about. The tunnel's 100 feet wide, and this is all vertical space that you move inside of. When they find the worm or whatever foe it is that they're going to be fighting, they can find them on these little stands over here, and they can actually come at them at the 5-foot scale, or they can pan out to the 50-foot scale if they want to try to get distance around them. So you can both play a side-scroller game while also an overhead 5-foot scale combat map. So overhead side-scroller 50-foot, overhead map 5-foot. That's how we can build this thing. So they have some 5-foot round engagement. I have a nest here. I have another nest here, and then they'll get up to the worm up there. And that's a good battle. We've got a 3-hour session, so I'm hoping that they can kick through here and take these things out in maybe an hour and a half. And then once the worm is killed, then they get to convert the worm into a jammer, and then they'll be able to fight Zariel directly. And Zariel at this 50-foot scale. I'll have to draw her ship at the 50-foot scale then. So let's go to this. Is why I have to do prep. This is why we have to do prep. Here, go black and white. And Zero's got weapon nests on top of it. Okay, that looks horrible, but whatever. Okay, so the idea is that this is a 50-foot square. This is a 480-foot tall structure that's mainly just a blade. So it's just a giant carving knife. Get rid of that curve. When you've got a 50-foot squad, like at the 50-foot scale, you got like you can cram in 100 demons at most, anywhere from 20 to 100 demons in that square, and they're about this big, and this thing just rips right through it, just destroys. If you have an Infernal War Machine, it's only about this big. Beep beep. Pew, pew, pew. Like your reach with a ballista is like about here, right? A ballista could barely hit the top of this thing. If you have a trebuchet, that's cool. That can get the job done. You can start battering up here. But if you have a flying ship, you can just come in here and just nuke all this crap and get around all this mess. So that's how the Zerial will do. But again, from overhead, it looks like that. Or this way, whatever. Yeah, this way looks more fun. But then, okay, so that's just carving up the ground, right? But it can dunk itself in the river Styx this deep, right? Which is only that much. That's the size of Zerial's flying fortress in comparison to everything else that we're messing around with right now. So, but she can dip it down in there, and then these intakes pull the souls in. So you can still do the collect souls from the river Styx, but instead of powering this blade so it can run around and kick up pain, it can just do that as a Spelljammer. What happens when it sucks in all these? It vents out demons. It shits out devils. So aside from carving up the landscape with its flying blade coming at you, zoom. It's also firing devil. If it's got a full tank, it can just spontaneously produce and spit devils at whatever it's attacking. So yeah, fun stuff. And then of course it's got its weapons here. So if you're in a scorpion ship here, and you're tootling up, like your ship's kind of like this, and you're tootling up like this, and you get your scorpion thing going on. You might have a chance to take this guy on because you're the same. It's wider than you, but it's the same width at least. So you're the underdog, but at least you got a chance, right? Plus you've got all your little fighter ships flying around you. So you've got your Spelljammer ship, which is going to eat up a 50-foot by a 100-foot by 100-foot square, and then you've got your squadrons of of flying Infernal War Machines. They got 1, 2, 3 of those. And then they got aerial support from trebuchets and catapult nests that they have set up around the city. So they've got a decent chance of taking on this boss fight thing, but it's going to be spewing swarms of imps at people. So you got to deal with that crap too. But that's the gist of what we're trying to do here. So so the next thing that I need to do is grab this dude real quick. New. Erase all that crap, so I just have the blade. Thing is, Zero doesn't have. Get away. There's no souls to scoop up from the River Styx right now. That's the whole point of this Elturel thing, is to dump all the humans into the River Styx. They die. She can then suck all their souls up and then spit them out as imps. So that's the plan. So far, no good. So she's trying. So we're going to make a token out of this real quick. Yep. Yeah, I really wanted to paint tonight. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's okay, because the prep's got to get done. This is pretty much the home stretch on our playtesting anyway. So, make another copy of that. Copy. Drop that pretty face right there. Zerial side, and here. There. Nice. First try. That is the scale of Zerial's blade at the 50-foot scale. Like, compared to your 50-foot squad flitting around, this is, it's like she can't fit in here. But she could carve the hell out of it. So, that's, anyway, that's Zariel's ship. Like, that's how tall it is compared to the structure. But then, again, you know, we have the, this is how wide it is, and this is how deep it is, and that's how tall it is over there. Grab all this and push it up a bit. This little dude back over here, tiny. So now we got to build you a Spelljammer. That is our joyful next task. Here, this. And if they attack it too much, it'll break through the surface and just start roaming around on top of the city. So, that's freaking great. So that's where we're at. So that's where that's at. Next thing we need to do is build them a jammer. So let's do that. Let's go find us a scorpion. There we go. Good enough. Let's save that. Good. What are these? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. Bit more than 100. Looks like 150 to me. Scouts are cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that guy looks like he's 80 feet. Let's just grab this then. Yeah, we're good. Scorp. Then let's go back to here. Alright, well, I apparently don't have Zuriel in here somewhere. Let's see if I have her cut out. Sure don't. All right. This guy over here. Let's put that on the map. Zoom in a bit and figure out how big it's supposed to be. Come on, man. Thank you. Too wide, but it's a start. It's a pretty snap to grid. A little big, perhaps. Oof, that's getting much closer. Not quite there, though. Come on, give me a break, dude. Don't be a bitch. Oh my god, it's so difficult. Just it's the worst part of Roll20. It's how obnoxious it is to align shit if you have to do it manually. Everything else about it is just awesome. Not good enough. Screw you. Anyway, that's how big this thing is. That's pretty damn big. Num, 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 num. It's one. That's right. 1, 2, 3. So it's about 150 feet. Jeez, McCrow. So that is a 300-foot. 1, 2, 3. 300 feet. Right. That's the right. 300. All right. Sorry, I had to math that out for a minute. Drop that guy into a shroud of darkness. After the worm is gone, I can put the scorpion down here. That's a perfect place for it. In case they have to repel, you know, boarding parties or something, whatever. This thing will be a 3x. No, wait. When this thing is the right size, it'll be a 3x3. Yeah, he's a little chubby like that, but it's okay. I mean, technically it should be less. Let's make less. Come on, buddy. Like that. It's actually legit. So that's what the team has against Zariel's ship. Here it is from another view. Like they could climb up the blade. They could walk up the side of it. So when they kill this thing, they'll get this thing, and then they'll have the Zerial fight, and we'll see how long the battle takes to get there. I can just drop some assets on here for them to fight with over yonder. And take this guy. I can put him into the GM layer to ignore till later. And yeah, I think this will be fun. They're a match. At 15th level, they're a match. It'll be a cool fight. All right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. That's me doing stream. I feel pretty comfortable at this point that I can just wheel through this thing. I mean, it's just basically like a 5-room dungeon, so not a big. It's more like a 2-room dungeon, so not a big deal at all. I'm tired, so that's task complete. I'm going to be play testing tomorrow night, and my Saturday is fairly open. I'll probably be doing some Saturday morning streaming. We'll get some artwork done, and Friday night, Friday lunch stream. So, but next time I'll be back will be Friday lunch stream, which will be art, and then Saturday morning stream, I'll be back for more art, and then I might be back Sunday late stream. I'll be back on Monday to do art and mapping. By this Saturday, maybe done with Eberron. So on Monday, I'll have, of course, Martial Powers Monday lunch. We'll be talking about magic paradigms and martial powers. And then Monday night we'll be probably be done with the Eberron cover at that point, I'm hoping, and then we'll be getting back into art back into maps. So the edits are coming along nicely. I'm super pleased with those. Everything's coming along. Everything's pushing forward. So it's a long drawn out process. It takes shitloads of hours and a lot of work. So like, subscribe, tune in, check it out, ask me questions. I love yammering about stuff when we get people talking, and I'll see you guys on the other side. So thanks a lot.